Get ready for it to go. We are live from New York. Well, not New York. I am live from Tennessee in the Nashville area. This is Tavern Talk. I didn't realize how many actual Tavern Talk channels there were talking about D&D and other ridiculously stupid shit. I am Tyler Randall. As you can see, my name says Reverend Sergeant Tyler Randall. I believe in pomp and circumstance, and you should address me as so. I'm just kidding. I call myself the blue collar philosopher for only for pomp and circumstance reasons as well. And I'm just here to have a good time, bring back the days of yore when people would go to taverns and when they would talk to each other about the current events and politics and possibly revolutions and whatnot. I always have my trusty mug here filled with beer with a beautiful brass handle. Oh, yes, that's right. Delicious. Now, I would like to introduce my guest. This is my very good friend and smarter than me, man, Brian.
Probably
How you doing, Brian? Oh, okay, buddy.
All right, I'm Brian. I guess I'll answer the question at the bottom. So my dad's name is William, and he worked in the fastener industry and basically distributes fasteners. They basically import shit from other countries and send it to people that assemble shit in Mexico and then bring it back here. So, yeah.
It's called the American dream.
Yeah, the American dream. And every time he tells someone that that's what he does, that's what happens, people go, that's not what happens. It's just like, no shit. No, yeah, it does, dude.
I don't know if you've ever, worked in the industrial side of anything, but that's exactly what happens.
Yeah.
If I can answer the question, who is my daddy? His name is Timothy Randall, and if anybody knows where he's at, he owes me a considerable amount of child support. So get on that. You can contact me online here. I can see your comments. So looks like we have a couple comments here coming up. Yeah, we got my buddy Ray. What's up? How's it going, Ray? We'll bring your comment up. Just started watching the footage. How you doing? What's up, dude? And as you guys comment on Facebook and YouTube or whatever, if I deem it so, I will put it on the screen and maybe talk to you about it. And if anybody feels like they want to join or they have something to interject, please go ahead and try to talk to me, and then I will bring you in. But today, we are going to start with some current events, okay? So, current events. I know some people like me, I'm in the news cycle constantly, and that's probably a bad thing. I'm aware that it is kind of like Operation Mockingbird on steroids, but I try to stay aware of it. So first and foremost, obviously Ghislaine Maxwell is getting charged with only 5 of the 6 counts of whatever the heck she's getting charged with. I don't even care about that. What I care about is, why did they not leverage her to give up names? They didn't give her a sweetheart deal so they don't care about the kids that were molested or raped, right? Or that are getting trafficked. But this is my take on it. We have this old world structure of blackmail that was based on human trafficking, child trafficking, right? And now everything's digital. So as this current, effigy is falling, now we're just like, we have to have a scapegoat. So Ghislaine Maxwell, the only person still alive. No, go ahead. I'm going to keep talking. So she's the only one left to blame, right? She's the only one left that we can get any accountability, but we're not going to, because she's either going to be dead in a week or, nothing's going to change. What do you think, Brian? Do you think I'm kind of overstating it or being hyperbolic?
I mean, yeah, she'll probably commit. I would say there's a good chance she'll be dead within a month, maybe a little bit more. But I don't think. But it's also, I mean, it's like you could have given. I don't think there was like a really cush deal to give her. I think it was just kind of straight up, you're involved in this, we're charging you, and that's that. And I feel it's just like one of those things. I feel like it's just like one of those things. Everybody knows about it, and nobody wants to dig into it.
Nobody that is in charge, right? Nobody that's in the prosecutor's office. Nobody that's in the U.S. District Attorney's office. Nobody that's in the White House. Nobody that's in Wall Street. Nobody anywhere is concerned with any of this.
Yeah, no one at the top wants to dig into it, and in reality, most people like us don't really give a shit. They're too busy
Yeah.
screaming about, other nuances that probably don't matter, or paying attention to, who fucked who in Hollywood.
Oh,
Or something like
that's it.
that.
I mean, yeah, we can't have that. How's it going, Watson? That's right. We probably will be banning a few shows. If you have any ideas for future content, please let us know, and we'll be sure to do it so we can get kicked off. I think you bring up a very good point, Brian. I think you bring a very good point about how the news cycle keeps us distracted from things that are important, things that matter, right? We're constantly thinking about the next Hollywood scandal, and did you see Twitter? I think Twitter is like the greatest psyop that ever existed. It's like you only have.
I think, like personally, I think politicians should not be allowed to have Twitter accounts.
Okay, keep going with that. What do you?
Neither should news networks or anybody on the news.
Well, yeah, if you look in most news, it's like, oh, we saw a tweet, and here's 1,000 words about the implications of that tweet and who talked about that. It's like a tweet is not a news story. Even
what a tweet is 150 characters,
something like that. I don't do Twitter that often,
some shit like that. Like I think the original purpose of it was to, like, I can have like a food, like let's say I had like a food truck or some shit like that. Like I could just be like, hey, I'm here now, and all my followers that eat at my food truck know where I'm at and know where I'm going next, right?
Right.
And or when I'm going there, or I can like keep people updated. So it's like if someone has a break at 10 and I'm not going to be at their workplace at 10:30, and they're going to be shit out of luck, but maybe they can send someone else down at 10:30 or some shit like that. But to have like, not really like, I mean, just even like ragging on Trump, like, what the fuck are you on Twitter for, dude?
Yeah. Well, okay. So I think that's the largest criticism of anybody who's even Trump supporters. That's their largest. They're like, Jesus, if we would just get off Twitter. I enjoyed the circus of it personally, and that's just because I'm myself a troll. I was a troll before there was even a term for it. I enjoyed being abrasive and awkward in public. Obviously, like that's how I am.
Yeah.
But no, go ahead.
So the circus and the entertainment's enjoyable, but at the same time, it's like he can tweet something, and even if it's like dead correct, and it's like, okay, tweets like say like 10 words. Now the news just can twist it however they want to, whether it's someone that supports him or is against him. Like he could say something completely idiotic or tweet something completely idiotic, and a news station that supports him could make it sound great. It's like people are like, oh, people are earning. It's like these people. It's like, oh, people are earning more money now. Like, yeah, okay, but everything costs more.
Those people are earning more money, but this costs more
too.
money, or that costs less money, or real estate. Yeah, but real estate is it. So it creates like it gives them one half of the false dichotomy that they need for the news story, right? That they're going to create. Like even the coffee thing, he misspelled the word coffee, and it was a news story for 4 fucking days. Like how? Yeah. It spawned merchandise. People, I mean, Michael Knowles, who is, supposedly, he's a talking head on the right, but I enjoyed his last book, honestly, Speechless, but that's not the point. He was all about coffee. He had coffee gear. He had a freaking coffee mug. He was always saying, I spill my coffee, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, wait, are we deifying this guy because of a fucking a clerical error? Or are we doing it just for the circus portion of it? Like, if we're in the final days, if Rome's going to fall, if the barbarians are fucking coming, like, should we just be like, fuck it, let's just get drunk? Like, why not?
Yeah, sort of. I mean, I'm kind of
yeah, sort of. Fuck it. I mean, I'm kind of at that point too.
I mean, it's kind of like last weekend, like Christmas Eve, I went up to one of the ski resorts out here and was just like, right, I'm like I'm applying for a job here to work in your parking lot. and I'm just gonna like make enough money to afford a hotel room for the weekends for the winter. And
Dude, it was beautiful. Those pictures, I saw the pictures, and you said, I think one of the comments that you made was that you found like actual solace in the solitude. Like you were like,
dude, we were like, I was like driving up there. There's like the one part I'm like driving, I'm just like leaning on my steering wheel, and this just goes. I'm like on the road. I'm like, I know there's a fucking turn here, and I don't know which way the road fucking goes. It's just like just complete whiteout conditions. The wind's blowing shit off the trees. I'm just like, all right, whatever. So I finally get there. I like get in the parking lot. Like the one parking dude's like sitting there, like waving me into the parking lot. I'm like, all right. And I'm like sitting there, it's like getting ready to roll my window down because like, where the fuck is this other guy that you're pointing me to? So it's like I finally see him. So I park. It's like couldn't see fucking shit. I guess they're like they don't have like they're obviously everybody's obviously like hurting for people with the labor shortage.
The labor shortage from the unknown virus of unspecified origins, right?
Or you know, maybe like pay people more, and B, stop handing out free money.
Yes, this is complete. You are like naturally rolling right into the main topic, which is I've made a little chyron here. Federal Reserve, inflation, function, not a bug. So, please expound on that. What do you mean by when you talk about like paying people? Like, where's this money coming from?
Well, okay, so let's see. It would come. So, like, let's say, if I wanted to be paid more for my job, I would charge people more for what I do, right? So, as the more, like, obviously, the more experience I have and the better I get at my job, the more and more I'm going to increase the price of my service or product. iPhones are going to keep costing more and more because they keep getting better and better. Right. So, or that's basically what it, that's how it should work.
It's either getting cheaper, faster, or better, or more efficient, right? So it's like cheaper.
But if you're giving me something with a better, if I go from an iPhone 1 to an iPhone 13, and you're giving me something with a better screen, with more functions that functions better, like I don't even need a fucking computer. I have an iPhone 11. I don't even need a computer.
Yep.
I don't need a computer. I have a tablet out of convenience if I want to read something like a book, because that's hard to read on my cell phone. But other than that, I don't need anything that besides my phone.
I agree.
And if I have, the other reason, it's like I'm on a family plan with unlimited data, so that I can, as long as I have cell service, I can pull up any information I want to, any time. Right.
Now that in itself, I think, is its own problem. Like, I think if you go down that road, you get into like the decline of literacy and all sorts of other things. Like, yes,
it's a decline in needing to remember shit, which I think leads to that. But I don't think so much that really you don't really, because it's like kind of like the thing, you don't really actually learn anything in school a lot that like you really need to know. Like you don't need to know the presidents in order. That doesn't really matter. Right. But when people sit there and go, oh, well, we should teach kids how to do taxes. It's like you get a fucking book and it literally has directions on how to fill it out step by step.
TurboTax, right?
You can't do your taxes. It's because you don't know how to read.
How to read, right? Now that's a whole. And by the way, I want to bring. I know we're about to go down that path. So let's steer it away from there, because next episode we do, whenever it is, the abolition of the Department of Education. I mean, ever since that, that's its own thing. But let's get back to the Federal Reserve. So the reason that things are costing money, I mean, we know, we can tell that there's signs of inflation, not just from gas prices, but that's the easiest one to tell, right? Everyone wants to blame Biden for that, which to their credit, like it is a lot his fault because of the policy, all of the policies that he negated from the Trump administration and all the policies he's trying to enact now. Also, I think and by the way, I said this in Politicon in 2019 and nobody published it except for Russian state TV. I swear to God, RT TV published a video of me saying, Trump said he was going to end the national debt and now he's getting intertraded with China. And now, we're going to pass an omnibus bill because they said he was going to get the wall. And then he didn't. So the snowball starts with Trump going ahead with the omnibus bill, right? Signing the omnibus bill. Where are we at now?
So, the gas prices are kind of like twofold. So when you had the first shutdown, gas prices went down because people are using them less, obviously. But the other thing, people don't actually realize what happened at that time is there was an OPEC meeting and they all were trying to and OPEC was kind of like, oh, we're not going to produce. And Russia started, and I believe Russia's tried to start out producing them and undercutting them. And then Saudi Arabia at the same was caught, obviously saw what they were doing and was like, okay, well, we can pump more oil out of the ground than you.
And that's why the whole Nord Stream 2 situation is such a big deal.
There was an overproduction of it before more widespread shutdowns, and then that widespread shutdown happened. And so when that happened, it's you had way too much supply, way too little demand,
not an demand, and
everything just kind of fell off. And people are, they'll ask okay, well, why aren't fuel prices and air tickets going down for the airlines? So because they bought the contracts 3 to 6
they're
months
stuck
ago.
because they're stuck at a price. That's what their negotiated price is.
They're stuck buying what they were supposed to be paying 6 months ago. But you saw that as time went on, plane tickets got cheaper even as gas prices kind of started going back up. So you had that as supply was kind of leveled off, I guess, and demand started coming back. That's going to start increasing the price a little bit. And then of course the Biden administration's policies or advertised policies are going to increase it more.
Yep. I completely agree. And also, if you want to talk about airlines, they're canceling more flights, packing more people on. So they'll take your money, they'll let you buy a flight, and then they'll cancel it, and then they'll say, "Well, here's your voucher. We've already got your money, and we're just going to fly whenever the heck we want." So we're coming into the very end of Biden's first year. Okay, it's been a disastrous year. It turns out more and more. It's hard to not talk about stupid COVID-19, right? It's really, really super hard because we all know what we know, right? We all know where it came from. We all know who took advantage of it. And we all know who's still trying to take advantage of it. We see them on TV all the time. We have these talking heads telling us, "Oh, we need to do this to build back better. We need to get. If only we could just print more money. If we could just print more money, people will have more money in their pockets." And I feel like this goes hand in hand with the Department of Education thing, with literacy being super low. We were never taught about the Federal Reserve in school. We weren't taught about the private banking cartel that sets prices and interest rates. What the fuck? Who decides what interest rates are? Who decides what the interest rates are?
The Federal Reserve basically decides what the interest rates are on the money, and that basically determines. It's kind of like it's the price of basically the interest is kind of like the price of lending money that you would borrow. It's the price you pay for borrowing money from the bank. So it's the higher the interest rates, the higher the interest is going to be on mortgages. And it's even the thing, home prices are going up. It's not so much the value of properties going up. Home prices are going up because people aren't even looking at oh, can I afford? They're not looking at, can I afford this $500,000 house, or I'm going to pay $1 million. It's just, can I afford $2,000 a month? Yes, I can afford $2,000 a month. And if I can afford $2,000 a month for this 4-bedroom house, never mind, I'm going to spend $1 million on it over my lifetime. I'm going to sign this mortgage, and then the house sells, and the house sells for fucking $750,000. And now all of a sudden it's like you're living in then all of a sudden it's like a shock in California is $1 million.
California is a different thing because it's always been that hyperinflated, but now we're starting to see it spread across the country. I would add to what you just said, which is completely correct. I would add to that, it's also because everybody that's investing in real estate, all of the freaking hedge funds like BlackRock, Blackstone, whatever the fuck their name is, all of everybody else is investing in real estate. All Airbnbs, VRBOs, things like that. They want to invest in real estate because they know that it's going to topple. Inflation is going to peak. Interest rates are going to have to go up, and they want to have a physical asset, right? So real estate's the easiest one to snap up, especially in places like Nashville. Nashville has a very poor side of town called East Nashville, and it's getting gentrified. And now there's like hyper gentrification coming in because all these real estate investment firms are coming in, buying large swaths of land, bulldozing and putting up shotgun houses, right? And they just need to get the construction done as fast as they can so they can start making money back on that rent, because the rent is going to be as high as a mortgage, or the VRBO is going to make $1,000 a weekend here in Vegas, right? Where, you'll get somebody will fly. And this, by the way, this is Nashville, in case you don't know, is like the number one destination for what's that called? Not bridal showers. What are they called? Oh my gosh. Bachelorette parties. So bachelorette party, number one destination in the country for bachelorette parties. They come here, they go down Broadway, they put on their pink cowboy hats. As a matter of fact, so many stories. That's not the point. But what I'm saying is, as far as, property goes, we bought our property here for a modest amount, and then it just skyrockets to the point where, like, how do you capitalize on that? You can't sell your house because then you got to go buy something else immediately or have a contingency, and it's going to fall through because your house.
That's the thing. It's like you can't. It's the average person can't sell with the high prices because you're stuck needing to buy. So the only people it actually really works out for are probably like people like around like our parents' age. Like my parents are like going to be getting ready to retire, so like okay, like they can sell their house in Pennsylvania for way more than it's actually worth
if they downsize, or if they get like a RV or something,
make their and then go live in some like 55 plus community or something.
Yeah, like my parents-in-law did the same thing. They bought their house in 1977 for what was it? I can't remember. It's something like 7,000. There's a lot of sevens involved in the story. But they bought it for like 7,000, and then it was worth 700,000. You know what I mean? They freaking sold it. They came here to Tennessee, over outside of Nashville, bought a luxurious huge giant house, and for cash. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's what all these Californians and believe it or not, Texans. So there's a huge migration from California to Texas, but even more so from California and Texas, both to Tennessee, because we like Texas, we don't have state tax, right? Yeah. And we have land. Texas has land, but it's also, people don't find it appealing. We have wooded land here. Like, okay, so anecdote.
Yeah, you have like appealing land. Texas has
appealing land.
Texas has like rancher land.
Yeah. So we're in like Pigeon Forge, which is eastern Tennessee, up in the mountains, in the Smoky Mountains, where Dolly Parton's from, right? Smoky National Forest. My buddy was like, "Hey, I found like 10 acres. I want to go look at it." Right. So we go look at it with him, and it's literally the top of a hill. So we get there, we look in, it's just the top of a hill, and we're like, "You can't build on it. You can't." And they wanted an obscene amount of money for it. It was so, just for undeveloped land without access to build. They wanted like. It was an obscene. I'm not even going to say how much it was, because it's just an obscene amount of money for the top of a hill, and they were getting people just coming to look at it constantly. But I digress. The anecdotes go forever, and I know a lot of people are like, well, anecdotal evidence is. It's like, you know what? If you gave me hard data without any anecdotes, I'm going to question you, because if there's nobody feeling the effects in some sort of anecdotal way, or they don't have something to say about it. You can't reconcile just hard data with no anecdotes. Same way you can't just take anecdotes without hard data. That's the way I feel.
Yeah, I mean it's the same. I mean, it's you need to be able to like see it around you. Like Oregon, the housing in Oregon is getting fucking blown out of proportion because of people from California. Because you can sell shit and come up here and just cash offer.
Mm-hmm. Also, Brandon Watson brings up a very good point. He's saying investment for funds making a rental population, right? So this goes back to like Davos and World Economic Forum. You're not going to own anything, and you're going to be happy, right?
Yeah,
Just
yeah. That's kind of what basically it is. It's because the prices are being driven up by certain factors, but it's also like those funds can they can afford to overpay.
Yeah, a billionaire
For
can,
houses,
a millionaire
right?
can.
And it's now they can't. They're not going to make money. They're not going to make money flipping them. Like Zillow lost a shitload of money with their house flipping shit, right?
Yep.
But
Oh yeah.
if they would have just bought them and say rented them,
Mm-hmm. Or VRBO'd or Airbnb'd. Like Airbnb is freaking on the rise, man.
Airbnb'd them, rented them, whatever. And so you're going to start seeing, and because everything's going to be rented, it just goes where they're just going to be able to set the market price higher and higher and higher and higher, which will cause people to need higher and higher salaries, which will cause all the prices of everything else to go higher and higher, or everybody to get on a dole.
Do you think that this has been primed in us by subscription culture, right? That's what I'll call it. Like, no, iTunes, don't own your music, stream it. You don't need to buy an album. You can just listen to it anytime as long as you pay us $13.99 a month, right? You can have a place to live.
Yeah, I think the streaming thing, because like originally, because it's like weird, because originally iTunes, you actually bought the song and downloaded it.
Mm-hmm.
You bought the song on your computer and downloaded it, and it downloaded onto your iPod. Now it's just you just pull it up on your phone and pay $14 a month to stream whatever you want.
To listen to music you've already paid for. Like I personally, if I like a band, I'll go like I'm gonna give a shout out to a band I just saw recently. They've been around for about 10 years now. All Hail the Yeti. They recently got a new gimmick. The gimmick is working for them. It's like, altars and Viking stuff, and like it's really cool. Makeup, whole stage production. Really love their music. I went to try to buy it, and it was very hard. I was like, hey, I just want to buy your music. Like, well, we got CDs or you can stream. So now we're not even in the middle ground of downloading songs anymore. You either get a CD that if you have a car that was built in like 2016 or sooner, you got a CD player, right? Or if it's like the lowest model possible, you got the stick shift with nothing, with like 2 speakers, not 4. Maybe it has a CD player or whatever. So you get a CD player or you can stream it. And I'm like, dude, I would pay you the same amount for that CD if you would just give it to me to download to have on my phone. That's not even the fucking option anymore. They don't want you to have that.
You're either buying a CD that you can't play, or it is. It's a lot. Everything's streaming, monthly subscriptions. You rent things, you lease your cars. It's more, and almost in practicality, it's almost more economically advantageous to do these things to the average person.
All right, I have somebody commenting here. Shri Switchell, they bought 2.5 acres. We're gonna put an RV. What's that? 4 RV slots. Houses are ridiculously high. We can charge $700 per slot per month. Holy shit! That's an amazing on 2 acres. So
you're charging. Think about this. You're charging $700 a month for a person to park their fucking RV.
And let's just assume this is my aunt. This is my aunt Petey, by the way. What's up, Petey? I don't want there to be any like impropriety. Like people are like, oh, I know that he's related to her. Yes, that's my aunt, and she's doing it right. Even if she has like, let's say she has full hookups, you know what I mean, or she lives somewhere that close to a washout. That's still a steal, man. Like you can go out to the desert. I'm not going to say where she lives, but you go out to, the desert where she lives. You can park there for a weekend, or you can park there for a month, whatever you want to do. And so she's making money. People are willing to pay that money because, one, they're on their way from California, right? Oh, look, yeah, rentals are going for $2,500 a month. Rental houses.
Yeah, see, that's that's the thing. It's just that's like that might be like what a more that's more than a mortgage payment in some places.
Tell me why this is
depending on the
different.
house.
Why? How would you describe this as being different from 2008? The current housing market.
The supply and demand is flipped.
Aha! I'm glad you said that. Keep going.
Yeah. So before, what basically was happening is you had this inflated supply of houses, and they were basically just writing loans and lending to anybody, right? And there were no regulations on it or anything like that, and everybody was just getting their money lent to them. Now everything's being okay. Well, we're selling our house in California. We sold it in California or wherever else shit's expensive, and we're buying this with cash, and it's driving prices through the roof. But but you don't have any. There's nothing like new being built.
Mm-hmm.
So eventually, if they do start building new shit, all these people that are buying houses right now may be shit out of luck in another 5-10 years if they're trying to
change their station in life. Yeah,
like it would. I mean, if you have, the thing is, like, if you find a house and that you can afford, and you want to sell your house, it's like, okay, I'm gonna sell my house for 20% over value and buy this house for 20% over value. Okay,
but you're not gonna get appraised correctly, so you're gonna have to come up with the cash to cover that. And I think that's where a lot of people are gonna come into a big problem. The big problem comes in.
So yeah, so like if you're like right, I mean, like maybe not like a year, but like right now, and like even probably like back until like May, I don't think like it would probably have been like a bad time to buy a starter home.
Right.
Be a first time home buyer, because you're probably not looking at like your forever home, and the resale value. Now I could be wrong. They might not build more, and if they don't build more, it's not going to make a difference. But something tells me
they're building so much. More. But I work in the building products industry, and I will tell you right now, they have not stopped building. They didn't stop building through COVID. We had 2 tornadoes come through in the last 2 years. They haven't stopped building. They were still catching up from the first tornado. They don't give a shit about COVID builders, right? They were like, oh no, this is so bad. Hey, why the fuck don't you have any siding? And you're like, well, the manufacturer won't let anybody come to work, and the other half of the people that want to come to work are on state assistance, so that's why we don't have any. They're like, and then there's not a truck driver to drive it down here. They're like, well, I'll pay you whatever, and they're like, well, I don't care how much you pay me.
Okay, so that's another thing, is there's not the material supply is now depleted, so the price of materials is up. Like look at how high lumber was.
Yeah.
At one
point. It's the same thing. It's the same thing for aluminum.
Was like
lumber
was like so far up at one point. Then I think like there was one point I think it was actually down on the year, and then now it's going back up again.
They're still building in Tennessee. They haven't stopped. They haven't stopped.
Remember that correctly, but it's so the supply. So that's going to cause the price of new homes to be higher as well for a little bit. But I think it's like once all these supply chain issues like get sorted out, if they ever get sorted out, the price of everything's going to. I feel like
crash.
The price of everything's going to drop. But the only thing is it's the owners or the people that are like buying the shit are the ones that are going to get fucked, not the people holding the investment products. Like all the,
you're right. It's the same thing with
the mortgage-backed securities. If people aren't paying their mortgages, the mortgage-backed security becomes worthless, but that's not it's a person that bought the house, and if they can afford the mortgage for the rest of their life, then they're going to be fine.
I would say two things.
If I buy a house, like I said earlier, and I'm like, oh yeah, sure, I can afford $10,000 a month. Fuck it. Like,
I would say if you bought a house and say you own a house, right, and your equity has gone up, but you can't move, how do you cash in on that? If I could say, there are many options as far as like cash out refinances or construction loans. Like if you always wanted to upgrade your house, make your house worth what it's inflated at today. Like I personally have done some upgrades
But
to that.
I would say just taking money out, using the house as collateral.
Oh, easily, 100%. Use the fake price that they have set your house at, and get as much money out of it as you can. Your payment's gonna go up like $35, but a month, but you're gonna get 100 to $200,000 in equity cash that you could pump into something else. Pump it into your new small business.
I believe that is a home equity line of credit.
Yeah, a HELOC. Now, HELOCs have a lot of.
So it's basically. I think that's the one that works. It works like a credit card balance almost, right?
A lot of rules to it, though.
Yeah, but at the same time, if you can follow those rules and you can do that, then yes, that is probably. And that's the thing. So it's just like, okay, so she's saying like people are just building. So it's like if they're building and building and building, they are probably going to. You're going to get a point where the prices of shit's going to start coming down.
Yeah, eventually. But the problem is,
it's just a question of when.
Yeah, and I think we're kind of getting away from also. Not we've talked about physical assets,
and of course, I don't know. I don't think there's any way to
mitigate
bet on the price of it coming down.
Right? We're not like the big short, right?
It's not like I can go just be like, oh, I'm just going to short a house.
Like
shorting a mortgage-backed security or a stock.
Right. I would love to short all of the houses in my neighborhood and then just start doing drive-bys, right? Just start doing drive-bys, drive the prices down, and then freaking cash out on that short. That's what I would want to do.
Yeah,
but also
it's not like so. I don't. I mean, I kind of, and of course, like me and you wouldn't have access to doing that anyhow.
Yeah, of course.
Like, I mean, the only way I mean, it's like the only thing I can do is like the only thing like. We can really do shorting stuff is like if you buy a put contract or if you sell a covered call. But the thing is, to sell a covered call, you have to own the security on it. So it's like you're betting against yourself.
Yeah,
which is not necessarily like the worst thing because it's like if you can bet against something short term if you're holding it. I'd rather sell covered calls than just sell it off.
It's all kind of like a short-term kind of shell game, moving capital from one place to another to try to keep the wave moving, right? You don't want the money to sit still. You want it to move. And even if you're taking losses, okay, roll with it in that direction and try to, bring the curve back the other way.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, if I'm like, because the thing is this goes, prices of certain things can be very volatile, and it just goes. You're not losing money unless you're not making or losing money unless you sell something.
Right. That's like Bitcoin. Like it's volatile.
Yeah. Right. So if I buy Bitcoin at 60,000 and it goes to 30,000 and I don't do shit with it, I didn't actually lose any money yet. And now if I freak out and sell it.
But it's because people aren't buying enough shit with Bitcoin. The more, and by the way, I don't know if you've seen any YouTube ads lately, but Visa is heavily invested in doing transactions with Bitcoin. And that makes me very worried because I'm looking at establishment going, oh, yeah, we're just going to appropriate this thing that all these people, put their freaking livelihoods into. Oh, yeah. You guys want to make a decentralized thing? How about the most centralized thing in the world is going to take a hold of that? And we're just going to milk it for everything it's worth. We're going to put a
lot of corporations are starting to buy it too. Like I think what business does Tesla, a car company, have buying it?
Or Elon Musk himself personally and by the way, this goes back all the way back to like people tweeting with a fucking tweet can tank the stock or tank the value, of Bitcoin itself. Like he's just like, yeah, I'm gonna sell 5 shares, whatever, and then
that's just people being fucking morons.
I get that, but I'm saying thing. I mean, we put so much power.
The stock market was supposed to crash like 40 fucking times this year.
Okay.
It's like every week.
It's not that it's going to crash. I don't believe in that. I'm not a crash, like, what do you call it? Like, I'm not, oh, it's going to, like, one of those climate people. It's like, oh, the climate, it's going to fucking kill us. Like, nobody, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, it's a bad idea to put your money in something that's already volatile because it's decentralized. When you have Visa, MasterCard, Goldman Sachs, Tesla, all these other big, giant, huge players buying into that decentralized currency, but nobody buys anything with it.
So that's why that's what's like kind of, yeah. You want to know why people don't buy shit with it? Because it costs so much goddamn money to buy shit with it.
Yeah, we have to have a fucking micro Bitcoin fucking system, which, by the way, the problem Bitcoin
is these other cryptocurrencies are coming from, because it's like the transaction price and the transaction speed is lower and faster, respectively.
So you need a fiat currency for your fiat currency. Like, it doesn't make any fucking sense.
You need a digitalized currency to replace the money currency, the paper currency.
Now I agree. Now that's obviously the direction everybody wants to go in. What I'm saying is, you can't buy anything with a Bitcoin because it's like what, $65,000. So, and it changes so much day to day that we have the reverse problem of what we have with the dollar. The dollar is just a slow, steady, like, market decline. Bitcoin goes up, down, up, down, up, down. You can't just be like, 0.3 Bitcoin doesn't pay for what it used to pay for. You'd have to be up to date on what Bitcoin is every day before you make any transactions. And that's too much.
Almost every fucking second, really.
Exactly.
I mean, it should change.
If Elon Musk,
not always drastically, but
if Elon Musk takes a shit, then fucking Bitcoin's going to be worth money.
Yeah. It changes every 30 seconds, just like a stock, but it changes 24/7.
Yeah. Now, do you think that that's the world that we're about to live in? Do you think that that's something we should just get used to? Or do you think because I think all this inflation has been, when people say, oh, well, in the inflation, I haven't really seen it because I've been staying inside and I've been getting a stimulus check and I haven't been doing anything. And it's like, do you have a savings account? We have we have the fucking, the mouthpiece for the president saying inflation's not bad. That means people are spending money. And you're like,
it doesn't. It means you're charging people more. It means you're just charging more shit. It doesn't mean
are you retarded?
It just means the money's worth less and you're charging more. This is because
it's a de facto tax on savings. If you have money in a savings account in a bank and they inflate the dollar, which they did with the CARES Act, your dollar is worth less money. If you don't have that in a physical asset or in a bond or in a fund or in any kind of security,
I don't even think bonds
you're fucked
anymore.
What's that?
I don't even think bonds beat inflation anymore.
Never. I mean, yeah. Everybody's like, oh no, just put it in an IRA. It's a slow and steady wins the race. It's like, bro, you can't even make money on that. It's not gonna.
No, yes. Okay. So hold on. An IRA is just an account. You can invest in anything in an IRA. So you can buy you can buy into an S&P 500 index fund or a NASDAQ index fund or Apple shares within your IRA. So the thing is your major companies, that as long as Apple, Microsoft, and those companies don't become obsolete, investing in those companies is probably a pretty solid bet, right? As long as they don't become obsolete or do something stupid like IBM or General Electric or some shit like that. So if you pay attention to, what I can't remember his last name. Tim, what the fuck's the CEO of Apple's name?
Yeah. I know what you're talking about. I know exactly what you're talking about.
I can't remember his last name.
It's not Tim White. Tim. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. The glasses.
Yeah.
It's
a pretty basic name.
Thank you, Tim Cook.
Weird.
Thank you, Sharice. Tim Cook.
Okay. All right. So as long as you were paying attention to what Steve Jobs was saying, what Tim Cook's saying, and you're paying attention to who people are putting in charge. If you're investing in Facebook and the metaverse and things like that, and you're paying attention to Zuckerberg and what he's doing, and it's not necessarily do you agree with his politics or those things, but you agree with that that his vision for his business. It's like, okay, you feel safe that that company's not going to go obsolete. That company's going to grow with the inflation, if not more.
Yes, it's
so
good.
So to invest into,
like you saw
S&P
Facebook, you
500
saw
or a Nasdaq fund,
all the
which incorporates all those companies,
made yeah.
You're then you are looking at like a slow and steady wins the race type of thing. One of the things that's funny is they talk about the stock market going up. If you took out the top five gainers, I think this year, no, not necessarily like the top five like big companies. I think it's if you took out Nvidia, Tesla, Google,
not
Apple,
Alphabet,
Microsoft,
not Alphabet, but Google, just Google, right?
What?
Not Alphabet, but just Google.
Both the stocks put together, because there's Class C and Class A that are public.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
So it might be good. So it's just the two Alphabet stocks put together: Apple, Microsoft, Nvidia, Tesla. I think Facebook's in there too, but I'm not sure where. But it's like those six. If you took those six out, the Nasdaq's down like 20% on a year.
Yeah. Exactly. So not only do we have inflation of the currency itself,
they're the top stocks in the S&P 500 as well.
It's not just our currency, it's our stock market too. Because you talk about
companies are actually losing money. It's just that
are doing
some
bad.
Of these companies,
and there's less companies
are gaining so much or becoming worth so much more that it's carrying the index higher.
It's dwarfing all of the failure that's actually happening in the S&P 500.
Yes, it is actually. It's actually because the economy is failing. The only part that is not failing is the massive. Even Amazon's at like is like at a minimal gain or loss in the year. It's like been flat all year.
You can't take the gains that 6 billionaire companies made. They made $1 trillion, like $1.6 trillion year on year from like March to February. You can't take that as saying, oh, it's a recovery. It's like, for whom? Like the 40% of small businesses that had to close and never will reopen.
Small businesses aren't even in that shit.
Small businesses, and you're right, not in the stock market. What I'm saying is to leapfrog to small business. Small business was over 50% of the economy, and now you losing 40% of that to what? Amazon, Walmart, Target, fucking whatever. Because I will give Amazon credit because fucking Bezos saw it when nobody else did. He said, you know what? The problem is, I have to rely on so many third parties for logistics. What if I owned all the logistics? And then he bought a truck hub and a truck hub and a truck hub and an airport and then airplanes and then the boxes. He owns fucking everything, and it worked. And that's fucking great. He said he went out to his subscribers and said, hey, if you guys pay for this Prime subscription, it'll give me the capital that I need to invest into my idea, and if it works, it works, and if it doesn't, guess what? You're gonna have to go back to the shoe store and the TJ Maxx. Oh no. And it fucking gamble paid off. Now he's a fucking multi-billionaire. The richest woman in the world got all of her money from divorce, that's another fucking issue I want to bring up in a later date. That's not the point. The point is, Amazon was a great idea, but they've gotten to the point where now Amazon is lobbying our politicians for shit. And Amazon is lobbying our fucking reserve for shit. Our fucking banking system is divorced from our government, which I'm not saying that's a bad thing, a bad idea. It's a bad idea when we have the illusion of government checks and controls. But
no, it is. It's a bad idea because theoretically the United States Treasury should be
gold
or whatever, right?
Or whatever. Even if they were like,
it doesn't necessarily have to be. It doesn't have to be
Bitcoin.
Gold, but historically it has been gold and silver.
It could be a conglomeration of things. What if it was a conglomeration fund of precious metals and other kind of like solid assets? that the United States
and
owned.
And the government owned this, and this is how much money. But the Treasury should be basically the bank. It should not be like there shouldn't be a Federal Reserve.
Thank you. They shouldn't be setting what.
Which is why I brought up before we came on. Simply for the Federal Reserve, Woodrow Wilson is the worst president ever.
We were talking about this before the stream.
Anything else that happened under any other president, simply because of that, he's the worst president ever.
Yeah, you're like, forget about the supposed racism, and I was like, supposed? This motherfucker.
No, yeah, that doesn't matter. I'll give you this goes. I'll give you a pass. I'll give you a pass on your racism, dude. You're the worst president ever because of the Federal Reserve.
This Federal Reserve. After it was already fucking burned down by the people previously. Also, fuck Hamilton. Fuck. I know they made a musical and he's like super fucking popular right now. Fuck Alexander Hamilton. Because
Alan Burr is the shit, dude. Like,
okay. Whatever.
I mean, I would
for those of you, please explain that. Please explain that joke for the people that didn't get it. What? Explain Aaron Burr. Explain Burr for everybody that didn't get the joke.
Oh, good. Just like your sitting vice president doesn't want something to happen, so he challenges someone to a duel and shoots him. Like, yeah,
fucking murks him, dude. The way it should be. That's the way it should be. If you want to, you've got beef.
It's just like
mutual combat, and also fuck Jefferson for trying to stop that shit from happening. I'll say it. Aaron Burr is a fucking hero.
I don't think. I don't know if I would want that happening as the president. Didn't exactly look good, but at the same time, I think it's just like. But hey, if that's what it comes, obviously the quarrel is not over. That it was more on personal lines, but
now okay, let's stretch this.
I think the personal attacks came from political differences.
Obviously. Now let's stretch this to modern day. No, go ahead. I know you can hear me. I want to stretch this to modern day.
Like so if we have political differences, and so it's like we have political differences, and we're just going to start attacking each other on a personal level.
But should they be able to do mutual combat? Should politicians be able to engage in mutual combat to resolve these personal and political differences? I think so.
I mean, yes, but I think it also crosses a line to a certain extent, because it's like, then it's just like where do you, I mean, let's put it this way. If you're unable to participate in it, you probably should not be in a political seat.
Okay. I agree with that.
You know, I mean, like if someone wanted to go out and have like a, say, boxing match with AOC, and AOC was like, oh, I can't, like, just goes, tough shit if you have a man twice your size beat the shit out of you. Shouldn't be in politics then.
Yeah, because you can't hold your fucking weight. That's what I think.
I mean,
I want to see Jerry Nadler get his ass beat.
Sorry to pick on her, but you know, same thing as, I don't know, you pick a female Republican, or it's just like,
it's like if Marjorie Taylor Greene went up against Nancy Pelosi. It's like, okay, we know how that's gonna fucking go. But also, it just so happens that the ideas would go that way too. It's not just physical. I think the biggest problem with all of our politics, and I've thought about running.
I think people would be a little bit more hesitant to start dragging people through the mud.
Oh, for sure, because you get your ass called out. You might get fucking your block knocked off. And by the way, would your political career withstand the negative press that would come with you getting your ass beat on TV?
No, yeah, right. Even if it was just
we could be like fucking Ukraine, where they'll jump over a table and fucking fight you like on C-SPAN 7. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, so it's just kind of like one of those things. It's just like. But the thing is, like, society's just so weak and undisciplined.
I got my good friend Matt Twitchell saying he would fight Harris or Biden. Hey, that's a real man. It's a real man. Challenge. Hey, he's speaking truth to power now. He's speaking truth to power. That's what I say.
But that's the thing. It's just because I don't want someone – like, it's the same thing. Like, I mean – I don't want someone like, it's the same thing. Like, I mean, it's the same thing. Like, 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 it's the same th It's the same thing. Like if I'm a fucking boot in the Marine Corps, I want my fire team leader to be able to kick my fucking ass.
Yeah, to a certain extent, exactly. Or at least you want to think that, right? Because a lot of times that's not the case.
Or give the perception, like I
give the perception.
Do I want to be do I want to be deathly afraid of my fire team leader or deathly afraid of my squad leader or my platoon sergeant? No, I don't want to be deathly afraid of them, but I would like to think that if I got into a fist fight with them, they would beat my fucking ass.
Or to even a greater extent, like say, like myself, I'm not a physically imposing person and never have been, but I had enough, I don't know, I guess loyalty from some of the guys it was like, it's not that I'm going to kick your ass. It's that the other dudes in the fire team are going to kick your ass because we have an understanding.
Yeah, so, or it's like there's like a respect there. You have to like give the impression of like it's just like I just do not get, like I know it's not a fucking dictatorship, but I just do not. It's not like Biden or Harris, like ooze fucking I'm a leader out like
confidence or competence, like, either or, right?
Yeah, they just like it is fucking pathetic.
So let's try to bring it home now. Okay, bringing it home on the main topic at least, for inflation, right? What would you say it would be a solution that we could actually that could actually happen, mind you, with the way Congress is fucked up as it is? What is the best solution that we could come to either ease the current like rampant inflation, or at least get it to I don't think it's going to stop, because I think that we do huge giant omnibus bills that have everything nobody can read them.
It's not going to stop, and nor would it be a good thing if it like just abruptly stopped and went the other way.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like you don't necessarily want like the price of everything to go through the floor, because then everybody that's like we mentioned the contracts with the airlines, everybody that's already, because things don't, it's not like okay, I buy this loaf of bread for $1 and sell it to this person for $1.50 and then pocket 25 cents and pass 25 cents, or pocket 10 cents and 35 and 40 cents goes to paying employees out of that, like, and multiply it by whatever I need to equal, however much I need to make and to pay my employees like minimum wage or a little bit over. But if I'm taking this $1 of bread and I'm buying $1 loaves of bread and selling them for $1.50 or whatever, right? And then all of a sudden I can only sell it for 80 cents. Well, I already bought it for a fucking $1.
Exactly.
It's not like I'm just like buying it, selling it, buying it, selling it. It's like I'm buying bread, food's probably not like a good example because that's a more rapid turnover, but like
I get what I know what you're saying.
Things that have like a longer shelf life, like building materials. Like
it's going to sit there.
Building materials went through the floor. Whoever was selling them,
we're just going to jack the fucking price up. We're just going to jack the price. Well, they're just going to jack the price up.
And they're going to have to keep the price high so they can afford to keep buying from
to warehouse it,
manufacturer.
Exactly. And the manufacturer is going to manufacture less, so then it's going to create false scarcity, which is also just going to drive the price up.
So basically, you have to end the supply chain issues. Is one of the things you have, is the first and foremost is end the supply chain issues.
Yeah, because COVID is fake.
That involves getting people back to work, which means stop handing out free money.
Exactly. So we've passed a bunch of. By the way, I don't know if you saw this in the news, but the CARES Act, all the COVID relief money, they have identified, and this is the bare minimum, because they have done almost no investigation. The bare minimum of money that has been lost to fraud is well over $100 billion that has been lost to fraud, false claims, corporations and countries, and other entities that have been getting money. They prosecuted 123 people and got back $73 million.
But
they lost 100 billion.
The fact that you were passing out checks to fucking motherfucking dead people.
Yeah, dead people, corporations, and entities that are foreign in nature. That were all just like, oh, all we have to do is fill out these 6 forms and have a fucking tax ID number, which they're not going to check. Yeah, no problem. Done. Yeah, and once I get the money in my account, guess what? I'm going to bounce it somewhere else.
Shit out, and then it's just like, oh, well, you just have to give it to your employees. It just goes, okay, well, there's where you have to give it to your employees. Well, we're just going to apply for it, even though we didn't shut down or lose any money.
Oh yeah, my company. No, I'm not putting my company on blast, but I'll say at least my company, and I know a bunch of other companies did this. Like, if you did come down with COVID-19 and you had to actually quarantine, they paid your company your full salary. But they only paid the employee 50% of the salary if they didn't have enough vacation or fucking sick time to cover it. What? So if it's Christmas time, like it was for me, and I was out of vacation for the year because I'd already used it up to that point, I'm only getting paid 50% of my wage because I'm being forced to stay home even after I'm asymptomatic, which we now know I was never spreading it anyway if I was asymptomatic.
Yeah. So it's and then it's I'm like, but it's just there was the same thing, like they gave shit to my dad's old company, like, and I was working there because like I wasn't allowed to do my job, and it was like I got a $500 fucking bonus check for being a fucking part-time employee. What the?
Yeah, but after they printed all that money, that $500 only worth like, $250.
I don't know if it's that. I don't know if it's.
No, it's not that. It's not that severe, but still.
Yeah. The thing is though, if we keep going at this rate, it does get to run away.
Yeah, and
because
it's not like a nuance. We're not saying, and I want to say,
like when you look at the like, I don't know if like my hand's on the screen here or not, but like if you look at like where my hand like goes, like the Weimar chart did not just go like in a like trajectory like this,
right?
Like it's exponential, and it is kind of volatile for a little bit before it like just skyrocketed.
It's doing the up down.
You're in this like up and down like 6 percentile range, and as it's going, it's like you might get like ups and downs here, but as it's going to eventually hit that curve and just go through.
It's not going to stop. Yeah, it's going to go through the roof,
and it's just not going to stop, and it's just going to be like, oh.
And it's not like we're not.
It's like you're collecting your money on Friday and running to the food store. And it's like
trying to get there before the value of everything goes up, so you can actually get the best value for your dollar, right?
And then it's like, but I pick it up off the shelf, and by the time I'm in line, I'm paying more for it.
Isn't that just what we were talking about with Bitcoin? How volatile it is. We were talking exactly what we're talking about. Like, you need to monitor
that goes up and down.
Price,
this and just goes fucking dead.
That's what's happening with our actual currency.
Goes up, and the dollar and the fucking value of your fucking money just goes down, and that's no good.
We have the Coca-Cola of currencies, right? That's what we have. Our currency is based on the currency, the fact that it is currency, the fact that it's a dollar. Everybody trades with it, right? That's what we have. It's a brand. We have we have the world's best brand of dollar or of currency, right? And we trade on that. We trade on the reputation of it. The problem is if it becomes so volatile that it can go up and down based on what 6 board members say. Because I'm guaranteed it's going to be the same thing. Like you said, you're going to have to cash your check and run to the fucking food store and buy it before the price goes up, because on Saturdays it's going to be more money than it is on Fridays. It boggles the mind, and that not counting what rent's going to be, it's not counting what mortgages are going to be, that's not counting what stocks are going to cost to trade, and God forbid any of these fucking platforms that let people trade are not going to fucking start hiking the price up per trade, because everybody took their stimulus money and shoved it into the fucking stock market. I'm sure they were really happy with that. I'm sure they were really happy with the influx of cash, and with also no accountability, because they're Robinhood. I'm specifically talking about them. Paused trading on GameStop because the funds told them to. They were like, "Stop! We're fucking losing our asses, you idiots! These poor people are gonna fucking rob us." And they fucking stopped the damn. I'm sorry. I'm super fucking mad about that.
Yeah, that is kind of bullshit. Well, I mean, they will shut down.
Invest in guns. They never go down in value. Just throwing it out there. Never.
Yeah, that is true.
100%.
They don't go down in value, and they always have a use.
Ever. And yeah, it's a tool because it's like I can't buy a rake and have a rake that's going to be worth more money in the future, even though all it does is rake. But a gun, hey, look at the price of M1 Grands since fucking World War II. Had they gone up or down? Always up.
Yeah.
Well, I think this is a good close. I think we've had a really good conversation. I think we've kind of touched all of the sphere of kind of how inflation's going, what the market's doing. And honestly, I've actually been really glad. Thank you so much. You touch on so many things that I'm unable to articulate personally.
Okay.
Because I take it as given. I take so much as given that I don't talk to somebody like as if they're a complete dumb person. And I feel like you break that down for me. Like you talk to me like I'm 5, and I'm like, yes. Thank you so much. I love it.
Sit here and make this peanut butter sandwich.
Fuck yeah, dude. People love it. People want to see that peanut butter sandwich get made.
Yeah. So I mean, but no, it's just that's like the biggest issue is that it has to stop, but it just can't stop abruptly.
Correct. You can't throw the brakes on a train and expect it to stop. It's gonna fucking slide for a while.
Yeah.
But we shouldn't stop the train anyway. We should just slow it down so that when we hit the curve, it doesn't tip over. I think that's a good end to that.
Yeah, I think you're really, really close. You're really close to that tipping point.
I think we are. I think we're headed for a curve.
You're very close, and it's just kind of like, but it's just kind of, so it's just kind of, it's really just they have to. Fucking, he's got to stop sitting there with that fucking money printer there, just sitting there. Like it's just like
money printer go burr.
Yeah, you got to stop. Or handing it. I mean, I don't even care about like the printing. Just you got to stop handing it out for free.
Correct. I completely agree.
You need the supply chain to normalize. Once the supply chain normalizes, the economy goes back, and prices will start going down again.
Just let regular people buy what they want to buy and not buy what they don't want to buy, and then that sets the prices once again. That's all we need.
Yeah.
Not COVID regulations stopping fucking shit in the fucking seas. That's what I'm saying.
What the hell fucking going on? Fucking well, it's the same thing. Shipping, you're short. Everybody's short on employees.
Yep, and containers, and truck drivers, and trailers, and we're trying to computerize the docks as well at the same time because they have a sweet fucking fee, contract. But that's not the point. So
what?
Oh, because I was saying because they're trying to also computerize everything, that it's just like the worst time ever to do that because there's literally nobody there to fucking make sure the robot's not fucking up. And also the workers or the union workers are going to go on strike. And it's just a bad time. Like wait 5 years, then computerize the docks. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Wait until we create another market for those fucking workers to go into. And then we'll see what's happening.
Yeah.
So Brian, thank you so much. I really super duper appreciate your time. I love your perspective. Thank you.
All right. I'll see you in a couple of weeks, then.
Yes, sir.
All
right, everybody. We're signing off. We're saying sayonara. We're saying goodbye. I can't think of any other way to say goodbye. Peace out. This has been Tavern Talk with Tyler Randall, Sergeant Reverend Tyler Randall, all you troglodytes out there. All right. Thanks, Brian. Tune in next time, and I'll let you know on Facebook and YouTube when next time is going to be. Once again, thanks again, Elizabeth. Thank you, Charisse. Thanks, Matt. Thanks, Brandon Watson. Thank you, Mr. Lopez. I appreciate you. Peace out. Till next time.